Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most intense, cinematic, and honestly devastating sequences from ancient epic literature. We're going to break down a deeply powerful excerpt that focuses on the breathtaking scale and the staggering, tragic costs of a mythological war. If you've ever wanted to understand how ancient myths communicated absolute apocalyptic destruction, well, you're exactly in the right place. We are exploring the burning of the Khandava forest, a narrative that perfectly combines high-stakes elemental magic, terrifying combat efficiency, and profound tragedy. So, let's jump right in. Hath the time come for the destruction of the world? Now, you might be thinking this is just some terrified human running for their life, right? Nope. This question was actually asked by the gods themselves, watching an apocalyptic event unfold below them. Just think about that for a second. The scale of the destruction we're about to explore is so massive, so completely unprecedented, that immortal, all-powerful beings looking down from the heavens honestly believed the end of the world had arrived. Let's look at exactly what triggered this cosmic panic. Part 1. The Unescapable Inferno. To really wrap our heads around this event, we gotta understand the fire itself. This isn't just a random natural disaster. It's driven by Agni. In the text, Agni is the fire personified as an unstoppable, conscious, and all-consuming force. Its mighty flames are quite literally reaching the firmament, pushing right up into the very borders of the sky. It's this towering inferno that's causing such immense anxiety even to the celestials up in heaven. I mean, can you imagine an elemental force operating with that kind of terrifying intent? And what's really wild here is the cold, calculated efficiency driving the destruction. You've got two incredibly formidable warriors, Krishna and Arjuna. They're in their chariots, posting up on completely opposite sides of this massive burning forest. Their goal? A total perimeter blockade. If any creature was seen even attempting to escape the flames, these heroes rushed instantly to prevent its flight. And the coordination is just staggering. The text describes their two excellent chariots and the warriors inside them acting as but one individual. They are perfectly synced in this grim task of ensuring absolutely nothing gets out alive. Part 2. Tragedy in the Flames. The sheer, unimaginable scale of this slaughter it's staggering. We're talking hundreds and thousands of living creatures trapped inside. As the forest burns, these thousands of creatures utter frightful yells, running in absolute panic in all directions. The visual painted here is incredibly grim. You have creatures with limbs burnt, scorched by excessive heat, some completely paralyzed by fear, and others biting their lips in agony before falling right into the blazing element below. It's just a scene of complete and utter devastation. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the most heartbreaking tragedy of the entire sequence. Because not everyone ran. Due to what the text calls their excess of affection, some creatures literally couldn't bring themselves to abandon loved ones who were maybe too slow or injured to escape. Instead of surviving alone, families chose to stay and burn together, dying calmly in the flames. It's a profoundly emotional detail that truly humanizes the staggering loss of life happening in this forest. Now you might think, hey, just take refuge in the water, right? Well, think again. There was truly no sanctuary to be found anywhere. The tanks and ponds inside the forest were heated by the surrounding fire until the water literally began to boil. The aquatic life, the fishes and the tortoises hiding within those waters were just boiled alive and perished. The burning bodies of various animals were everywhere, making it look almost as if the fire itself had assumed many forms. Then this builds into an almost action movie breakdown of Arjuna's impossible archery prowess. For the creatures that could fly, the birds taking wing to escape the roaring conflagration, the sky offered zero safety. Arjuna, maintaining his merciless blockade, targets them in midair. He flawlessly pierces the escaping birds with his shafts, cutting them into pieces, and those severed pieces just drop right back down into the burning element below. Struck by his arrows, the denizens of the forest continue to roar and yell in absolute despair. To truly feel the weight of this scene, you have to imagine the noise. The combined roars of the dying, panicked animals and the roaring, towering flames created a soundscape of pure terror. The text compares this clamor to a very specific mythological event, the frightful uproar heard during the churning of the ocean in days of yore. In this mythology, the churning of the ocean was a massive, world-altering cosmic event. By comparing the sounds of the burning forest to that, we understand that the noise of this slaughter was literally deafening and earth-shattering. Part 3. The Heavens React. The scale of this terrestrial disaster becomes so massive that the smoke and flames start causing sheer panic among the illustrious dwellers in heaven. The anxious celestials approach their leader, Indra. Now, Indra holds several imposing, powerful titles establishing his supreme authority. He's the chief of the celestials, the grinder of asuras, the slayer of Vritra, the lord of immortals, and him of 100 sacrifices and 1,000 eyes. The gods go to him as a unified body, demanding to know why Agni is slaughtering these creatures below, basically asking that panic question we talked about earlier, is this the end of the world? Hearing their pleas and beholding what the fire was doing, Indra acts immediately. He doesn't hesitate. He sets out for the protection of the Khandava forest, launching a massive celestial counteroffensive. He commands masses of clouds of every kind, hundreds and thousands of them, to completely cover the sky over the forest. And then he unleashes the rain. But we're not talking about a drizzle here. The rain pours down in showers, thick as the flagstaffs of battle cars. It is a deluge of epic proportions meant to instantly drown the inferno. Part 4. The Elemental Clash. So we have this absolute heavyweight bout, Agni's unquenchable heat versus Indra's massive storm clouds. You would think a celestial rainstorm with drops as thick as flagstaffs would instantly put out a forest fire, right? But that is not what happens. Indra's massive showers are entirely dried up in the sky itself by the sheer intense heat of Agni's fire. The water literally evaporates before it can even reach the flames below. Agni is completely unbothered by the first wave of this celestial attack. I mean, can you believe the sheer magnitude of that heat? Well, as you can imagine, the chief of the Celestials does not take lightly to being thwarted. Indra, referred to here as the Slayer of Nemuchi, gets genuinely angry with Agni. Infuriated that his first massive volley just evaporated into thin air, Indra doubles down. He pulls together even huger masses of clouds, commanding an even heavier downpour to force the fire into submission. The resulting clash turns the battlefield into a terrifying, cinematic mix of elemental fury. We have extreme fire contending directly with extreme water. The unstoppable flames are fighting against the heavy showers. You've got these massive, dark masses of clouds stacked heavily overhead, pressing down on the towering flames reaching up. The entire forest becomes filled with blinding smoke and intense flashes of lightning. It becomes terrible to behold. It is a true collision of unstoppable forces, with the fragile forest creatures caught directly in the crossfire. Which brings us to a really provocative thought to leave you with. Today, we've seen heroes acting with the precision of machines, and fire and rain colliding like warring gods. But amidst all this amazing spectacle, we also saw families burning together because they refused to abandon each other. So when earthly heroes wage war with the same destructive, unfeeling force as nature itself, what is the ultimate price of their victory? It's a staggering question regarding collateral damage, and for sure, one that makes this epic mythology so incredibly fascinating to study. I highly encourage you to dive even deeper into this incredible source material. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.